This week on CrunchWeek, Microsoft fires a bunch of executives, Fitbit's IPO goes bananas, and E3. Welcome to CrunchWeek. As you can see in the background, we are still working on our studio back here. It's going to be really awesome when it's done, but we still have a little bit of construction going on. Also, some news. Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
Hello. This is my last CrunchWeek episode ever, which is sad and exciting and makes me, I'm a puddle of emotions.
Where are you going, sir?
I'm going to the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, where I'm joining the deal and research team.
What does that mean?
So basically, I'm going to do what I do now, which is meet a bunch of startups and hopefully find a couple interesting ones among them. But instead of being like, oh, now I'll blog about them because I think they're cool, I'll like pass them along to general partners and say, hey, maybe we should invest in them.
Legitimately, you are the reason why TC to VC is a thing.
I know.
We've lost like half our staff to VC firms in the last 2 months.
Before Kyle. Kyle's not the first.
It's like the 30 Rock rule of threes, where it's like, oh, Ryan, Colleen, now it's me.
Although that was a terrible episode of 30 Rock.
Yeah, it was.
Really, really lackluster. Anyways, we're going to miss the hell out of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, everyone. I'm a bundle of nerves and sadness and excitement, and it's just great to like spend this last bit of time with you guys.
Yeah, we'll miss you. Yeah.
If you fail, you can't come home.
Yeah. Conflict of interest.
There
Bummer,
you go.
right?
Peace. I hope it's real.
Go big. So talk about what happened at Microsoft.
Great segue.
Major.
Fuck Kyle, Microsoft. So this week, Microsoft did a clearing of the dead wood. So essentially their fiscal year is over, and they got rid of some executives they just didn't need. So people that were just there but weren't doing that well, like Stephen Elop, who ran Windows Phone, Mr. Penn, who everyone hates, and so forth. So really they just cut the fiber out, and now they have a much more slim team, slim leadership team, and they're still doing the same stuff, same strategy. But
doesn't that usually signal that something else is kind of going on, though?
You would think so, and I'm with you on that, and that's a brilliant point because they warned in their last quarterly report that they may have to write down some goodwill from the Windows Phone purchase from Nokia, and then they fired Stephen Elop and Joe Harlow, who ran Windows Phone. So I wrote a post like, guys, I think we have to impair some goodwill on this bitch. So I believe they're gonna have a pretty bad next quarter on the earnings side, on the GAAP basis. But people are not surprised by that, so I don't think it's gonna.
I can't even help but feel a little like Game of Thronesy when it comes to Elop, especially because it's just how long ago was he like front runner for CEO of Microsoft?
The very first video I made at TechCrunch was with Frederick, our coworker. We shot it right here, and we talked about the next CEO of Microsoft, and Frederick said it would be Stephen Elop, and I laughed at him, and people shat on me for laughing at him, and I was fucking right. So I'm still holding on to that one. But Elop's exit gives Terry Myerson more internal power, he gets a bigger profile. I think it's fine. Also, when you're in charge, you have to pull the trigger. And in this case, it was definitely several triggers pulled up against the wall. So I get it. I'm not too concerned, but certainly I think there are some foreboding signs of short-term EPS impairment on a 1 quarter basis. So.
Okay, so I mean, what does this mean? So in the short term, probably not doing so well. They're cutting the fat.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So what do you think, though, about the fact that like cloud and services is going to be, they say that that's going to be bigger for them going forward. They're, reducing the price of Windows for like certain device categories and things like that, not even charging companies money to include it on their computers. And now Terry Myerson is like absorbing hardware and a bunch of other responsibilities under Windows.
It's a brilliant point. I think what it does is it puts Myerson in the obvious number 2 chair. No one can now say that Terry is not second place. But I think that the accretion of responsibilities under Scott Guthrie, who runs cloud for Microsoft, puts him up as well. Okay. So essentially, Terry did very well in this reorg, but so did Guthrie. So it's not really a repudiation of Windows as a group. It's more that they're just accreting things in different buckets. I think, though, if you ask Microsoft what's the one word they're most excited about, it would be cloud. And so I think that that's where they're dumping money into. They said commercial cloud will do $20 billion run rate in 2 years. I mean, they're really putting money into that because they understand that their old model is fucked.
Yeah, it seems like under this new reorg, they have Windows, which is huge but shrinking, and cloud, which is tiny but huge growth potential. And now it's like the focus has become part of the structure. And
that is Microsoft's both id and ego. That's the entire point. So.
What do you think of the Fitbit IPO? Shot up way 52% or something yesterday.
It was like 48 or 47. I just wish that I had money. Because if I had money, I could like give them some money and then I would get more back.
We've seen this before. We've seen these especially tech IPOs go way up and then drop way down. Etsy,
Box, Mobile Iron,
right?
King. I mean, just down the line. Essentially, I think that Fitbit's just different. They make a lot of money They're growing.
There's very little money in, which is weird for a hardware company. You pointed this out on Twitter the other
But those
day.
early investors.
I mean, they had like $48 million of
damn.
GAAP profits last quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, they're awesome. I mean, like I can't talk shit about them. I have nothing to say bad about them, other than I don't like what they look like. But like their financials are incredible, and so to see them pop, I thought it'd be 20%. I was really wrong. They're just badass, and it's fun to see a company that actually makes money do well, because we've been seeing so many IPOs and money-losing companies that are still growing. They're growing and killing it. So just respect.
I mean, but it's arguably a crowded space too, though. I mean, they may be doing well, but are they?
Yeah, the possibility is that they get to, provide a liquidity event for the early investors, and then suddenly the Apple Watch and other like general purpose wrist devices absorb the category, and fitness devices aren't a thing for the next couple of years. Like, where it's big now, so it's good to get the IPO because all that money will it'll pay out for them now, but the stock maybe in the long term won't be that great of a performer.
I mean, the joke is always in tech, you have two options, bundle or unbundle. And Fitbit is an unbundled, single-use fitness device. Your watch right there is a bundled device.
Right, exactly. But is your mom going to buy the Apple Watch, or is she going to buy the Fitbit?
Are you both wearing Apple Watches?
Yeah.
Oh, I quit. I quit, that's it. I'm just cashing out. Fuck me. All right, so no, but I think that they still have a very large niche, because people do work out, they want to do that, and frankly, single use is very powerful. And so I'm proud of them, I'm happy for them. I'm not a shareholder, I wish that I was, because it'd be a great day, but otherwise, it's a good signal for the IPO market as a whole, and Godspeed. So.
Yeah, so let's talk about E3. What
Yeah.
did you see there that was kind of cool?
E3 is the CES of gaming. Everyone comes in, everyone's got their keynote. This year was exciting and boring at the same time. Like the things that got gamers excited at, say, the Xbox event, it was backwards compatibility with your 8-year-old, 10-year-old Xbox 360 games. And people were like, yes, that's amazing, because it's been older game consoles. It was like, oh, you assumed that it could play the games you bought for the previous console. By PS2, all your PS1 games work for it. PS3, early years, played all your PS2 and PS1 games. And then this generation, there was like a big cut because they changed to a computer, like x86 architecture. They're basically rebadged PCs. So they lost all that backwards compatibility. So this was a very big fan pleaser, but not like it's a brand new thing. There was a couple other things. Microsoft, for instance, staying on that, and Sony both had new IPs, new franchises, and that's kind of been a complaint just in general in gaming. Is every year there's a Call of Duty, an Assassin's Creed, a Grand Theft Auto, so on and so on. And we're starting to finally see Microsoft and Sony reinvesting in starting some new brands, so that this generation of gamers will have their own thing and not be playing Game 8 in a series that started before they were born.
For those who don't know, what were the new series?
Wow, I actually do not recall, because they do not have the same brand recognition as in.
This is brand new. This is the younger generation.
But to be clear, I'm a PC gamer. I like StarCraft. I like RTS games that don't really convert well to consoles. So I'm curious: are we seeing a genre shift among these new franchises? Are we seeing kind of first-person shooters, RPGs, are we the same kind of games, or are we branching out a little bit?
It's interesting, because there's a couple of things where things are moving kind of back and forth from one side to the other. Where now, for instance, there's League of Legends, team versus team, multiple lanes, people coming at each other. There's that coming to consoles, but in the form of shooter instead of a top-down click-based interface that's popular and executes well on a PC. And I think you're going to see more of that, where they're going to try the fundamental concept of what worked on PC or what worked on a console, but bring it over to the other market, because they're both honestly getting bigger than they were in the past. PlayStation 4 sold faster than previous generations, but PC is also more important than it's been in a decade.
I'm really curious. Are we ever going to just plug in a fucking mouse and keyboard to my Xbox? Because I feel like I have so much more control over that environment than I do on console control.
That was a thing last generation with Unreal Tournament 3. They had keyboard and mouse support. Wasn't that big of a deal, actually, because they didn't, if you were that competitive, you play on the PC. Actually, Xbox is going the opposite direction. They have a $150 Elite controller, which has more inputs. And basically, it's for the people who really get into fighting games and have their own unique key combinations. They're moving towards, instead of bringing over the entire keyboard and mouse experience, making the gaming controller better for the players who want to put a lot into mastering something.
So things are getting better, essentially.
Yeah, no, I mean across the board from mobile to phones to or mobile to PCs to consoles, it's a pretty good year. Things are exciting.
Okay.
I'm personally a fan of Mortal Kombat and on the old arcade games. That was
I can't handle the gore. I
that
feel
was
so
amazing.
lame for saying
I
that.
was really good at that
did
game.
you actually just say that?
Yeah, no, I do not like
Yeah,
the
I
new
know.
Mortal
That's-
Kombat. It's gross to me.
His dismount from TechCrunch is, I can't handle the gore.
That was one of my favorite games at the Penny Arcade.
I couldn't make that better if I tried.
You're cooler than I am.
It's perfect.
I'm older than you. Thank you for joining us on TechCrunch this week. We'll see you next week.